This one is about changing a 2D image of a face into a 3D image of a face. So let's start with this face image. And you might have noticed that with the picture of my ridiculous cat, Meech, that you can just, in a notebook, you don't have to do anything fancy. I mean, you could say like import and then, you know, uh, user, RBen, and so on, and get to where you want to go. But you can also literally just come in here and copy and paste or drag and drop an image. In fact, if you have a link to an image, even, you can also just take your link and you can import right from a link. My point is, it's very easy to work with images in Wolfram language. You can just paste them right in. So in this case, we're going to save. Oh, and by the way, that does mean I could just say that cat is equal to, and then literally paste the picture of a cat, Command V, or drag and drop from Finder or Explorer or whatever. And now this is a totally computable Wolfram language object that I can do whatever I want with. Well, a strange computation, but a computation nonetheless, right? Um, Different binarization threshold might give you a different result since Meech has a lot of white on him. And we don't want to get... Why do I have dynamic off? That's weird. Meech party. What this is doing, for what it's worth, is it's just binarizing the image that I've saved to cat, and then it's coloring each disconnected region a different color. That's all. And so with different binarization thresholds, you get different numbers of regions and that's different numbers of colors. Anyway, you can save a face to the variable face. That's my point, right? Once you have that, you can do all sorts of things. One such thing is, just like we have the example repository that has these examples built in and you can just grab them, we have a neural net repository which has a bunch of neural nets that you can just grab. And we can save those neural nets to symbols as well. So we're going to grab the net model unguided volumetric regression net for 3D face reconstruction. There you have it. For anybody interested in learning about neural nets, one, we do have a boot camp that's usually in January. We've got a ton of courses about neural nets that you can take for free as well. And Wolfram Language is really nice pedagogically for working with neural nets because you can literally just click in here and you can see all the different layers of the neural net. And if you click on any one of them, you can learn about its parameters and its size. And if you click in here, you can see that one of the parts of this net chain is, say, itself a net chain, and you can see what its pieces are. There's a net graph. You can see how everything works internally. You can swap around these things, replace them, retrain them. It's very handy. But we've got the net model, right? And if we take face 3D, we're going to save a new value to this. We're going to take the net, we're going to operate it on face, and we're going to make it a 3D image. So a 3D image is just a stack of images. If we look at the documentation, you'll see an example here. So here's a 3D image made up of 5 10 by 10 blocks where the color is randomly chosen to be between 0 and 1 and visualized as such. So we're doing the same thing here. Net face is making this big collection of pixels. In fact, it's going to probably summary box it for us so we don't have to see it. Let's see here. This is this nasty 3D nested array, but really it's just kind of a bunch of slices that each correspond to an image of the face. And if we wrap that in image 3D, it's going to create this object for us that we can creepily rotate around. We can see that based on this person's face in 2D, the neural net has reconstructed what it thinks is an appropriate depth map. By the way, just for the interested attendee, this is part of what happens when you use portrait mode on your phone. There's some more complexity there, but part of the process is using a neural net to determine things that it thinks should have depth. For example, a scene with a human face, and it can pick out where a face is, and then it can do depth mapping on that and the hair, and then on the background, and so on. Like I said, there's more complexity to it, but typically these things have a neural net, and on, say, recent versions, the last maybe 2 or 3 versions of iOS, you may have noticed that when you take a picture of like a person or a pet, you don't even have to use portrait mode. You can turn on portrait mode later. The reason it can do that is because it recognizes in the image that there's a pet or a person, and then it uses a neural net to, well, it uses a neural net to recognize that, and then also to do some of the depth mapping in addition to doing some hardware stuff. But again, simple neural net here, works on a 2D image. It produces a 3D map of the image. Then, I don't want to get too into the details here, but basically the dimensions that this thing outputs, as you can see, they're kind of stretched. And so if you want to have this thing have the appropriate image dimensions corresponding to the initial face, you got to do a little resizing. And what this does here, this code is we're kind of taking the image dimensions of the face and we're doing a little bit of resizing so that the ratios make more sense. And now we have this kind of more human looking face that isn't so stretched out from front to back with, deep gaunt eye sockets and a very long nose and so on. And what we're going to do here, and this part's a little subtle, is we're going to take each image of this 3D face and we're going to put the color from the original image onto that slice. So let me explain here a little bit. So if I have my image 3D slices, I'm going to grab the dimensions of this thing. There are 105 slices that the neural net has produced for us. And if I look at, say, the first one, it looks like this. If I look at, say, the 50th one, it looks like this. So you can start to see these are just masks that correspond to each slice. And by using the very fun and powerful function manipulate that I showed before, we can, it's at 105, right? Go through all of these and see what they look like. So if we move through the slices, this is, it's kind of like a medical scan, right? We're getting a 3D map of what those slices look like. That's all. And what we're doing is we're going to each of these slices, and then based on the output from the neural network, we're multiplying each of these slices by the appropriate color channel from the image. And so here are some of them, but if we use manipulate, we can see all of them. So I'll show you the manipulate version. Very fancy, right? So this was colored slices. It should still have 105 slices, so we can do this. And these are the slices once each slice has been multiplied by the image. So at different depths, right, you get different amounts of the image shown. So say at the very end of the 3D image, you would only see the tip of this person's nose, right? Because if you look here at the very end, you only see their nose, which corresponds to seeing the slice up here at the front. And so by manipulating through, we can see this. And then all we have to do is we take those colored slices and we make a new image 3D from them. And we do some image reflection here just because of the way the neural net works. It may reflect the face. I'm not sure about that. Or it may reflect it from front to back or something. And now, a little bit spooky, but we have the neural net's best estimation of what this person's face would look like in 3D. So neural nets are a very scary thing. But they can do some pretty interesting stuff, comparatively, computationally, very cheaply. To go from, say, a 2D to a 3D version of this, you're using, it's not a neural net, I think would be quite difficult. So it's pretty cool with just a little bit of code and with the neural net that you can grab from the repository that you can regenerate a person's 3D face. And that's that one. The quick question about that. What does the function set alpha channel do to an image? Does it change its brightness values? Does it add a transparency or opacity level to each pixel? Does it multiply the image by a specified color? Does it change the color space of an image to lab? Or maybe you're not sure, which would be very fair, admittedly, in this context. Okay, we got to split about 60-40 between answers B and E. That is adding a transparency or opacity level to each pixel and not sure. So indeed, the audience has it, who wants to be a millionaire style. We got that it adds a transparency opacity level to each pixel. Let's take a quick look here. And as always, I'd recommend just taking a look at the documentation. Of course, in the context of a class, I'm not asking you to look up the documentation so you can get a poll question correct. Like, this is not graded or anything. But what you can do here is if you just give it a color, it's going to add an opacity level to the color. But if you give it an image, it adds an alpha channel to an image. And an alpha channel is something that gives you a transparency / opacity. So you can see kind of an example here. We have an image and we have a mask for the image. And this is making only, say, the center part and this kind of weird Gaussian blur have the full opacity, and then the rest gets kind of blended into the background. And that's really what we're doing here. What we don't want is for the image to have this background, because if you remember face, let's just look at face. There was a background here, right? The neural net has determined which part of the image is a face, and it has made these colored slices here only have a non-zero opacity around the face. It's set everything else to 0, right? So what we're doing here is we're taking the image and we're applying no opacity. We're saying get rid of everything that's not part of the face at each level of the slice. That's what the set alpha channel is doing there.